Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of 3 in a mini series on how to paint an Aspen Meadow in acrylics. In the first part, we went through building the foundational elements of a forest, including the background, the pine tree, foliage in the distance. We also covered the process of blocking in, shading, highlighting, and detailing. If you missed part 1, here's a link to catch up. For today's video, we will continue working on our Aspen Meadow, focusing on the leaves, petals, and branches of the grove. On the palette, starting out, I have titanium white, yellow ochre, deep yellow, primary yellow, and raw sienna. One thing I always emphasize about acrylics is how you can achieve depth and realism by adding layer upon layer, and we will follow the same process here with our leaves by blocking in the basic shapes and midtones using the colors mentioned. All of our trees are bare at this point, so let's work on covering them up. Everything looks pretty sparse right now, I know, but I envision this painting to just burst with color, just like a real aspen forest would, with the sun shining through. So colorful, with all the yellows and the browns. And I'm trying to depict that by blocking in the basic outline of our leaves. As I block in, I try to grab a different color from my palette with each application of paint, whether it's a little bit more raw sienna or a little bit more deep yellow. I enjoy seeing the different tones being applied to the canvas because it really adds that variety as we begin to build out our leaves throughout our grove here. These trees took me hours to paint. However, for this video, it's really meant to be more of a high-level tutorial of the process rather than a full step-by-step. Let me know in the comments if there's any interest in seeing a detailed step-by-step tutorial on a future painting. I recently finished a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, and I really enjoyed it. I could not help but notice a lot of parallels with painting. The essence of the book is about how small and simple actions can lead to great outcomes. And wow, so true in painting, especially something like this, like an Aspen Meadow, I think. You know, each painting takes time and patience, and it truly is brushstroke by brushstroke that a painting comes to life. He had an interesting quote. He said, "The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over. You have to fall in love with boredom." I wouldn't say I'm ever bored while painting, but there is an element of practice and repetition in everything that we do. I think it applies to art, music, sports, any craft. It's about patience, endurance, and enjoying the process. And that's how we become better. At this point, I'm adding a bit more titanium white, a little bit of light bismuth yellow, and just lighter values to start building the lighter tones and highlights where the sun will break through the leaves. When you look at a tree and its leaves, there are so many variations of color and light and tones and values, and I'm trying to depict that right now. With a little raw umber and raw sienna, let's start adding in some branches. There are many little branches coming off aspen trees, so once again, I want to be patient and take some time on the branches, more so in the foreground, to ensure that we're adding some nice little details. I want to make sure that there are appropriate shadows and highlights here, and start adding some of those twigs and branches sticking out all over the place. Some of these sticks and twigs will be unobscured by leaves, while others, let's have them disappear behind the foliage a little bit here and there. Really give some variety and depth to the forest. We can always go back in and add more yellow leaves on top if needed. Just work on building out the variety and characteristics of the forest. So now that we have some leaves and branches, I'm grabbing a combination of titanium white, yellow, and light bismuth yellow to help the sky come through. Here and there, I'm adding that light yellow and white to show where the sky breaks through the leaves. Now, this is where I want that explosion of light to happen. I want the sky back there to be brilliant and really just want it to pop in contrast to the leaves and the trees that we've already put down, because this is one of the focal points of the painting. So let's slowly build up a bright highlight and work on the sun rays extending out. I want the nearby trees and leaves to really sort of disappear and fade into that sun. So let's focus on very light tones here. Thanks so much for watching today. Appreciate you joining me for part 2 of this mini series. Stay tuned for the last video, part 3, where we'll finish the forest, the floor, the grass, the shrubbery. We'll see you then. Cheers.